Hello, welcome to the Azure Kubernetes Deployment series part 5. In part 4, we have already discussed how to deploy microservices using Helm chart through command line tool. Today, we are going to learn how to deploy microservices using Helm chart through Azure pipeline. So in the part 4, we have already discussed how to convert the existing manifest files into Helm template using Helmify tool and how to install Helmify as well as Helm chart. You can go through the part 4 for more details how the Helmify and the Helm chart work. So you can see here I have the Helm chart. Under this Helm chart, it has some subfolders, templates, and a Chart.yaml file and values.yaml file. And under template, I have all the manifests files that is required for deploying the microservices. So under the manifest file, I have all the required deployment as well as the service files for each of the individual microservice. So we have used Helmify tool to convert these existing manifest files into the Helm chart template. You can see here I have used this command Helmify and mentioned the template path. I mean the manifest path where the microservice manifest files are there, and I just mentioned a name of the Helm chart here. So using this command, we can convert this manifest file and we can create a Helm chart. So yesterday we have already discussed, once we create this, we need to do some modification on the service YAML files. So those changes I have done yesterday itself. Now today we are going to learn how to automate this. So if we remember, yesterday we have used this Helm install command to deploy these microservices into AKS cluster, and later we upgrade it with another version of the microservice. So, so that we have done using the command line. So today we will learn how we can automate it using the Azure pipeline. So if we go to the folder Azure DevOps, under that there is a pipeline, app deploy pipeline. So here you can see we have added a Helm deploy task. So this Helm deploy task will will take that path, I mean the Helm chart path from the artifact, and use a release name, and using that it will upgrade it. So if we have used upgrade command, but if it is not installed, it will, for the first time it will install using this command. So you can see here it has two stages here. One is the publish stage. In the publish stage, the artifact here I mentioned Helm chart. So this Helm chart folder, this will be this folder, it will publish to publish to the staging directory of the agent machine, and in deploy stage it will download that artifact, and the next step it will try to log into the AKS cluster, and the next task is it will deploy the Helm chart using the command upgrade. So here we have mentioned these are the parameters we are passing. This is the service connection name and the Azure resource group and AKS cluster. So these parameters, you can see I'm reading from the group variable. I have created a group variable, and you can see in my library, if you go to the path here, uh, library, under library I have declared a variable, and here I mentioned all the variables with a value, and I made some of the values as invisible. So this variable Kubernetes dev that I'm referring in this variable group, and apart from that I have a couple of other variables as well. So using this it will try to deploy the Helm chart into AKS cluster. So before running this pipeline, our Docker images should be available in the ACR container registry. So for that, I have created another three pipelines: order, product, and store. So this only to build the application, and it will push that Docker image to the ACR. You can see here, we have already discussed that in our previous lab as well. So the purpose of these pipelines is to build the Docker image, and it will push to the container registry. So you can see here, I'm using build.yaml. There is a template file. You can come under infra template, no, sorry, app template, and under that you can see build YAML. So this will push to the Docker registry. I mean the Azure Content Registry. Okay. Yeah. So in order to uh, run this pipeline, before running this pipeline, our infrastructure should be ready. So since the infrastructure provision takes some time, I have already provisioned that. You can see here, I have in the beginning I have used this command, I mean the script file to run the to provision the resources. I have used this one, and it is success. And I have already logged into the Azure and the AKS cluster as well. So if I'll try to get the node, I can use get node. Okay, so I'm able to see the node of the cluster. And here also, if you go to our resource group here, it is already created, and the Azure Container Registry and AKS both are available. Also, I have run these three pipelines. You can see these are three YAML pipelines: order, product, and store, that I have created in this pipeline. You can go under this, the Kubernetes 05. Under that, I have already created those pipelines: order pipeline, product pipeline, and storefront pipeline. So this pipeline basically used to build the Docker image and push to container registry. So that I have already run it. You can see some 30 minutes before I have done it. Similarly, if you go to the order pipeline, and if you go to the storefront pipeline, it executed 26 minutes before. So all these three pipelines I have already run. So you can see in the resource Azure Content Registry, you can see we have three images already created. If you go to the repository under repository, you can find this Docker images, and it has this tag. Okay, so order has 362, product has a tag 363, and the storefront has 361. So how these are created, this tag, if we go to this pipeline, we can see I have mentioned here the image tag. Okay, so it automatically take from the pipeline, and it, while creating this, it will just mention that as a tag, and the Docker image will be created with using this tag. Okay, now in order to deploy these Docker images, we need to run this app deploy pipeline, and this will use this Helm chart, and it will try to push into this AKS cluster. Okay, you can see this is the chart path. It will take from the artifact itself. Okay, the path it will take from the pipeline workspace, the artifact. So the artifact is nothing. This is the Helm chart, the folder. Okay, that contains all the manifest files with the chart.yaml file as well as values.yaml file. But here, if you can see in values, if you go to the values YAML and you can search the tag, it is mentioned v1. If you see the order service under tag order service, the tag name is v1. And if you go to the other, for example, if you go to RabbitMQ, it is latest. The BGBox, that is latest, that is fine. And for product, it is also mentioned v1. And this is for RabbitMQ, that is required because you are not building this Docker image. We are directly referring it from the Microsoft Content Registry. So this tag is 3.13. That is fine. Will not change it. And here the storefront, the version is v1. So, but in our ACR, our container, the images has a different version. I mean the tag name. it is 361 for storefront, product is 363, and order is 362. Okay, so let's change this one in this value dot values.yaml. If we go to this is storefront, so this is 361. We need to change this one, and okay, for order it is 362, and for product it is 363. So for product, okay, let's, this one is product service, this is 363 product. Okay, and order is 362, order is 362. Yeah, done. I think we have done it correctly. Yeah, this is done correctly. So let's just save it. I'll save and I'll commit this. Let's push it into the repository. Okay, so now our Helm chart contains the Docker images value that is available in the Azure Container Registry. Okay, now what we can do, we can run our deployment pipeline. Under this, we have this app deploy pipeline. Now I can run it again. You can see, if you check here, I have already logged into the cluster, but we don't have any pods created here. So there is no resources available in the default namespace. Okay, now let's try to run this pipeline. Oh yeah, so there is an issue in the library. The service connection name has an extra space, so I just removed that and saved it. Now I have rerun the app deploy pipeline. You can see here it is waiting for my approval permission. You can see I can provide the permission. It will start running this, and we can see here still we don't have any pod is created. We'll verify it after this get deployment. You can see it is downloading the artifact, then getting the credential to connect to the AKS, then next step it will do the Helm upgrade or install. Okay, so I mean, you can see here these are the steps it is getting executed. So this is done, downloading, and this credential, it is, yeah, credential is done, and now it is upgrading this. Yeah, it is done. If we go to see it, you can see here, so it is created, it is deployed to default namespace. Okay, and revision is 1. Okay, now if we'll go and try to get the pod, you can see here our pods are created. We have this order service, product service, storefront service, and rabbit message queue server. But the order service still it is not ready, so we'll wait for a few seconds. Yeah, we'll just wait for a few minutes, it will come. Okay, now let just we'll try to browse this. So what we can do, we can get the services, and you can see here the online store, the storefront service. It is of type load balancer, and it has a public IP, external IP. Okay, so now if we do a call to this IP, we can see here it shows welcome this. Okay, now this is our application storefront. Under this, we have the index, and you can see this is welcome this, it shows. Okay, now oh, what we can do, we will modify this and try to build the image again and push it into the ACR, and again we'll try to deploy it into AKS, and then we'll verify it. Okay, so in order to do that one, let me, now it shows welcome, but let me remove this. Okay, remove this, and let me save this. Okay, let me commit this one. Yeah, so it just I have committed the code, new changes. Now you can see here storefront, it automatically started the deployment because why it got deployed, started the deployment. I mean, run the pipeline for building the image and uh, and it will push the image to the ACR. So that is because if you go to the storefront pipeline, we can see here I have mentioned the trigger and here I have mentioned the storefront as the path. Okay, so if any changes we are doing under this storefront, any changes will do, it will and will commit to the repository, then it will trigger that build. Okay, so now it started the build. If you go under this, now it is trying the it installed the Docker in the agent machine and it is now trying to build it and publishing it to the Azure Container Registry. Okay, now if we'll go here, we can see here the storefront. We have only one tag, I mean one version of the image. But now, if it is success, then it will create another version of the image. Okay, so let's wait for a couple of minutes. Oh, it's failed. Hello, back again. Uh, so there is some issue with the Azure content registry service connection. I have recreated a new one and run that pipeline again. You can see here the storefront pipeline. Just now it ran 8 minutes before. And now it is success. So it pushed the image to the content registry. You can see here in the ACR, you can see for the storefront image, we have another new tag 370. So this is the new tag. Uh, the image with the name of new tag, a new image is created. Now we can deploy it using the pipeline, the application deployment pipeline. So in order to run this pipeline, before that, we need to change this values.yaml file. So here the storefront image tag, new tag is 370. So let me just change this one to 370. Okay, then I'll commit this. So new tag got added. Let me save it. So this is because the values.yaml, it will always, if any changes we want to do to our deployment, so in values.yaml we can pass that parameters. So here we are just referring to the new tag that we need to deploy from the content registry. Okay, so for that I just updated that new tag for the image storefront. Now let deploy the application. Now we can go to this here app deploy. So now we need to run this pipeline. Run. Okay. So what it should do is, now the changes what we have done here, we have done the changes in the index HTML file. Okay. So earlier it was there welcome with contains of pet store. Now we remove that welcome. Okay. So earlier you can see this was like this. So after deployment, we'll just verify whether the changes are reflected or not. Okay, so but one thing what we are doing in this deployment is, whenever we are creating a new image, okay, we are changing our application, the Docker images are created with a new build tag, but we need to always update the values.yaml file in order to fetch that new image from the Azure Container Registry. So there is a manual task involved. So in the next lab, we'll discuss how we can overcome this. That means before deploying the Helm chart to the AKS cluster, the deployment pipeline, it will automatically update that values.yaml file with the correct tag. I mean, the tag it will take from the build tag that it will use while creating the Docker image. So using the latest tag, it will try to deploy the application. So everything will be automated. So the new tag, the new Docker images it will create with the new tag, and the tag will be updated into the YAML file, and that will be deployed into the AKS cluster. So in next lab, we will discuss that one. So now just check whether, yeah, so deployment is success. You can see here Now revision 2 got created. If we'll come to our terminal here, we can see it, everything is running fine. Now again, if you do the curl, okay, with the same IP, this one, we can see the contours of pet store. There is no welcome. So that means the changes what we have done to this storefront application got reflected. So it is like, okay, so here we just verified like the continuous integration and continuous deployment. Okay, but one thing we are doing here, one manual change to the values.yaml file. So that we'll try to discuss in our next lab, how we can overcome this. So, so that's all for today. If you have any question, any feedback, just let me know. So till then, bye bye. Thank you so much.